what they wanted. That's what they expected to find. Fossils that had ape and human-like qualities that they felt were on the way from apes to human. That's what they wanted to find. Scientists are biased. They have preconceived ideas and they bring it to the evidence that they have, and they interpret their evidence by their preconceived bias. These are the things that our scientists are trained on in our universities. So they find the stuff and they just go along with the worldview they've been trained in. Now, I want to demonstrate this in better detail with my utensiline discovery. I'm very proud of this. I like to find fossils. And these fossils I found in Wyoming, and I was able to assemble an entire evolutionary progression that's going to make me a fortune. If I had just found any old common fossil, no one would care. But since I found something unique, this is going to put me on the map. I can get huge speaker fees now. And like I told Brian, this one's on the house, but in the future, I'm going to be in the dough because of what I found. So because I found them, I get to name them. Now, this is the first fossil I had found. I call it the utensilines, and this one is T. spoonicus. Okay? This is T. spoonicus. This is the first one. Now, right after this, as I continued my fossil prospecting, I found another fossil, and I knew exactly where it should go. This was it. This is bigger T. spoonicus. Okay? This is the next fossil in my discovery. Now, the next fossil I found was just a little bit odder. So I call this Otterithecus. And note the significant evolutionary advance here. From a solid skull, this one now has a mouth. Obviously, a distinction that will allow it to survive beyond these guys, since this one can eat. The other two can't. Okay? You see? Having a hole in your skull is good. And if having one hole in your skull is good, I figure having 4 holes is even better. Because now we probably have a mouth, a nose, and 2 eyeballs. So this thing can smell out its food, eat it, and see to look for more. You see how this is working? This is cool. Now the next fossil I found was this one. Ooh, wait a minute. No, maybe it goes over. No, that doesn't work either. How about over?
It doesn't fit.
No, it doesn't. What is that, Brian? What is that back there? What are you talking about? Look at, you see that over there? Come on. Okay, so the next fossil I found is this one that I call T. spoonicus giganticus. And there is a little problem with this one.
What the evidence?
What evidence is that?
Put it in the basement.
The pen.
What pen? You're confusing me with something else. So this is T. spoonicus giganticus, and it lost a hole somewhere, but somehow something got connected. So because it's bigger, it's got to have bigger brains. So this has got to be better, right? This is working out, you see. Now, this one I found next, and I'm not sure what to make of it, except I think it's some of the skull got busted off. So we're just going to forget that one. Okay. So this guy here was the next step. Now, this guy's got 3 bigger holes, and remember, the more holes you got, the better. So you can imagine my excitement when I next found this one. Yeah. Obviously, this is where it goes because it's big like this one, and it's got a long body like this one. But look, 2 legs and lots of eyeballs. This one is distinguished to be able to grow beyond any of its peers. But the next one I found was the best of them all. This was the best, and this is the final one in our sequence, and I call this one Spoonicus teethicus. You see? This guy's got teeth. Not only can he eat, but he can chew. Okay? This is when they started to discover fire and cook their food. So these are my utensilines. This is going to make me a fortune. And I wish... Gee, thanks. I wish I could tell you that that wasn't science, but unfortunately that is science. Now, Davidson Black, 1922, found a pig's tooth in Nebraska, called it Nebraska Man, and they created this whole scenario from a single tooth that a couple years later, after it was used as evidence in the Scopes monkey trial, which Piltdown Man also was used as evidence, in the Scopes monkey trial in 1925. After the trial, it was found, they found the jaw and more complete fossils and found that what Davidson Black actually found was a pig's tooth, an extinct pig tooth. But from this simple pig's tooth, they created this whole scenario of Nebraska man, another monkeys to man hominid. Because the tooth is the form of what they expected to find. And I searched and searched to find a picture of it, and I couldn't find a picture of that tooth anywhere. If anybody has a picture of that tooth, I would love to have a picture of it. I searched the internet for weeks trying to find a picture of that tooth, and I couldn't find it. The best I could find was a description. Do what?
You can photograph mine.
Where in Nebraska?
I appreciate the volunteer spirit there. But the best I could find was a description that it was a four-cusp tooth, and it had a semi-distinct Y shape to it that really shouldn't be in a four-cusp tooth. But I'd love a picture of that one. But, you know, after making a big rigmarole out of a pig's tooth and turning it into evidence of human evolution and then having it debunked as a pig's tooth, what do? Oh, sorry about that, Chief. And then they go right on to the next fossil, which Raymond Dart did, the Tong skull, which was found in 1924 and really wasn't accepted as much until 1960, after Piltdown Man was debunked and they were looking for some other monkeys to man process. Dart was a professor at a university in South Africa, and he and some students were having dinner with the manager of a quarry in Tong, South Africa. There's Tong, at least on the map. And they noticed that this guy had some on his mantle, some old baboon skulls and things like that, and it wondered where he got this stuff from. And he said they just found it in the quarry, in the mines. There were caves that had been filled with sediment near this quarry, and they had found this stuff when they were emptying out these caves. So Dart asked him if he had any more stuff, and the guy said, yeah, we got crates of it, I'll ship you some. So Dart went home and anxiously awaited the arrival of these crates, which came just before a wedding that he had to go to that he used as an excuse to get out of going to the wedding. Now, I'm kind of with him on that one. But Dart was convinced, long before he had an unimpeded view of the teeth of this thing, that his discovery was a remarkable one, an early hominid from South Africa. The question was, what kind of hominoid? So this guy